Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Life or Drinks podcast. I got two returning guests who are damn near part of the show. Tone the Hawk Garcia and large professor Junebug Agabin, the owner Night Isle. Thank you guys for being a part of this. And first things first, let's do the whiskey shot with the pickleback. All right, salute.
Cheers.
How's that, Junebug? Good, huh?
Why is it spicy? It's good.
It's just pickle juice. What are you talking about?
That's so spicy.
Pickle was angry before they juiced it.
Need a beer?
Oh yeah,
It was an angry pickle before they
Here you
juiced
go.
angry pickle juice.
That's it.
There you go. So yeah, so it's a pickle juice infused with habaneros.
Oh,
You're
that's
welcome.
why.
So yeah,
Instant reflux.
He might get heartburn now. Do you have Tums?
yeah,
Okay.
of course.
We have Tums.
No, we
just
got food,
Tums.
so you'll be
Log.
okay. Where the hell's my fucking beer? All right, I'll just drink one of these. Yeah, all right, guys. So you guys started in the beginning at I'm gonna say, was it Drysdale?
No,
Or-
he started way back in Hawaii doing Wing Chun. That's where he started.
Okay.
But when we
When
first
we met at Striking,
Striking
and then I
Unlimited,
came over to Cobra Kai and trained.
Ken Han.
Yeah, Ken Han. Yep. Back in 2010. Yeah.
It don't seem like that long ago, huh? But yeah, so much has changed.
13 years. Back on this January was 13 years.
Yeah. So you two, I've heard so many stories separately, and they're just fucking crazy. But it's like that's my son. I've been wanting to have you two here at the same time, just the three of us, so we could talk about some of these crazy stories. And one story we got to talk about later on is going to be the Mexico story. But but let's save that for the finale. All right. So you guys met back in 2010. How did that happen, and what brought you guys to become together, become training partners, friends, et cetera, et cetera?
You want to start?
You
want
paint
me-
a better picture.
Okay. So I just started training at Striking. And at the time, Junebug and Carlo used to switch off teaching the jiu-jitsu class at the gym. So I always taught kids wrestling first. So Junebug would bring his kids up to wrestling. Carlo would bring his kids up. And that's how I started out, was that Striking. In order to pay for my membership, I would just teach kids wrestling 5 days a week. And then what happened was Junebug and I'll never forget the very first time we were rolling. So not a lot of people know, but Junebug used to have a very pretty birthmark over here on this side of his face when I first met him. Yeah, and he had just got it out and the stitches out, and him and I rolled, and I did the old wrestling style. I grinded my face across his wound, and I split it open. His face started leaking blood.
What the fuck?
And then at the end of class, Isaac was probably 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah.
He tried to fight me.
Isaac was mad.
Isaac was,
you killed my father.
No, he
Yeah.
was like tears coming down his face. He was like, "What'd you do to my dad?"
No shit.
Yeah. Matthew at that time was in a car seat.
Oh baby.
Yeah, he was a baby in a car seat.
Yeah.
And it was mainly just Isaac and CJ that were in my classes.
And
But,
that your boy's holding that rattle, and he just like breaking and looking at you.
Well, and so what started was I really wanted to fight, and Ken had no faith in me at all, Ken Han. And so I asked Junebug if I could do some privates with him, just hitting mitts, and we started hitting mitts at Cobra Kai at the team takedown room. And in exchange for it, I would do privates for wrestling for his kids.
Okay.
So, yeah, and we did that. That was the exchange for forever. Long time. But yeah, that's how we first started. That's how we first met.
Yeah, you guys just kept building up your friendship from that. Just kept getting closer and closer.
Yeah, the more I fought, the more Junebug got involved, and it just made things easier and easier for both of us, because I was able to offer something that he wasn't able to offer his kids, and he was able to offer me, mitts, working on my kicks, cardio, all that stuff as one whole complete MMA fighter. And he, we did that for, God, we did it out of my garage, out of the back of churches, in parking lots when we had time to do it. At work, we worked together. So that's kind of how everything kind of meshed together.
Were you guys working together already?
So I was training at striking already for 2 months when you had got transferred over to pulmonary.
Right. Yeah, I was working at a primary care clinic
Yeah.
on Smoke Ranch and off of Smoke Ranch in Decatur.
Yes, Smoke Ranch, and then you transferred over to La Cañada.
Yep. And that's where he
At the
was
VA.
working front desk, and Noel was charge nurse over there.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
not charge nurse. There was other.
It was
Filipino
Alita. Alita was
yeah,
charge
yeah,
nurse. Yeah. Newell was just regular, and then after that, I would we knew each other from the gym. We hadn't really talked once we started working together. That's where the relationship started, and then things started going from there. And then he him and Mo and Carlo cornered me my very first fight, and I had only been training for 4 months before I took that fight. And I like begged Ken, I want to get this fight. I want to fight, to the point where Ken didn't even put me on the card. And I saw the promoter's phone number in Ken's office when I was walking by on a piece of paper, and I took it down and I text the guy. And I was like, oh, yeah, Ken told me to text you to get on the fight card and blah, 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 blah. And then Ken saw me on the fight card, and he was like, all right, you're going to learn your lesson. You're not ready. You're going to learn your lesson. So I went out there, and in like the first 13 seconds, I got punched right in the face, and I got dropped. And then I stood back up, and then I just wrestled my way out of it first round. And first round, I was like, oh, man, I got completely mopped up. And then second and third round, I completely beat the dude, and I won by split decision.
No shit.
Yeah. That was Kenny the Mini Monster. Remember with the yeah. So I probably threw up 4 or 5 times after that fight.
Really? Why?
Yeah, the nerves and just it's nerve wracking for real.
Wow. And what did Ken say after when it's all said and done? He's just like, "Good job, man. You proved me wrong. You're the man." And you're like, "Yeah." It was like a Rocky moment. Huh?
You will never hear those words from Ken Han.
Oh, where's he at now?
I think he's at Drysdale still.
No, he's currently training with Rafael Dominguez. He's a brown belt under Rafael Dominguez right now. Yeah.
So we don't trust him then. That's what you're saying, huh, Jumbo?
Yeah.
Besides Professor Walter, nowadays I don't, you know what I mean? The circles are real small. And if I ain't in front of you guys and hanging out with you guys, that's how small the circle is. Like, I trust very few people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you say so, yeah. Hey, salute, Junebug. Tolin. Just get Junebug drunk.
It's funny because I've been by Junebug's side since the beginning, and we've had our tough love with each other. Our quarrels, our things are never anything bad about each other. It's always because we know the other can be better than what they are. So that's how our conversations have always gone, and we'll get at each other a little bit, throw a little side comments at each other and stuff, but it's all for love and everything.
That's good. I wish I had that relationship with Junebug, because he steals my shirts and shit for like 3 months at pool parties.
Well, I really like them shirts. I wish I could fit into them. Can't blame me for being envious.
Oh, man.
He likes the way you smell.
That's right.
What is with Hawaiians and smelling people? All right, so we got his side. So what's your, like, during all this time, like, let's say when he cut you open in Isaac, like, what was your perspective from all this?
Yeah, like, so I came over from Cobra Kai after being one of their kids instructors, and I had gained enough status over there, and Sim and Mark Lehman would let me not corner, but be in the back room and work people's hands and just get them ready for fights. Tolin is one like the 3 or 4 athletes that I worked with in exchange for stuff. Like, Chris Holsworth, I've worked with, like, we exchanged privates for jiu-jitsu with Midwork. Tolin, I used to work with Ryan Bigler, James McSweeney, and all of them guys all ended up in either Bellator, UFC, that type of thing. So when Ken Han let me come in as the jiu-jitsu guy over there. Me and Carlo, you know, me and Tolin got a little bit more closer after he asked, you know, for me to corner him. And for real, that part when he opened up my eye, because one of the nurses, I don't know if you know him, primary care, his name was Roberto Franco, and he
he was at the Southwest Clinic.
yeah,
right?
he did my removal.
Oh, he did it himself
on the couch, bro. A Sunday morning, he did it in front of my boys. Like laid, you know, put me down, did the injection, cut off my mole that was right here. It's a huge mole.
How
like,
big?
Like 3 times bigger than like this one right here.
I never even noticed those moles before.
You gotta look at his family picture when they're all wearing the Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah,
that's the last picture you took with that mole.
So did you look like those guys in the kung fu movies? They got that big ass mole and they had like 3 hairs poking out.
Oh yeah,
that was you.
That was me, bro.
He used to line it up really nice though. It looked good.
I had that unlocked, dog.
How did you get married?
I mean, you know, she.
Oh, you haven't seen his marriage video?
Oh God.
Oh
Yeah. She married me for my kung fu skills,
bro.
Oh, I seen that.
You seen that video?
He put it on. He put the whole thing on Snapchat. And he tagged all of us.
Yeah.
This is back when I first started. So like,
Enter the Junebug.
TK and me and like all those guys back then.
Yeah.
And I was watching. He's on his computer, and I was looking at it. I'm like, what the fuck is this? But I couldn't stop watching it. And then the part he's all like, he goes, "Screw."
It's like a 90s music video. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. But he was like, he's holding his phone on Snapchat and is playing on his computer at the office, and he's saying little comments. And when the part where the guy takes off his shirt, he goes, "Oh, get naked." I'm like, it's like the DVD commentary.
Like the director's commentary.
Yeah. I was like, what is this?
He's
genuine,
like, we filmed this specific scene 10 times, not because we needed to, but because I wanted to.
Because we needed the nipple to be shown just perfectly.
Zoom in on that one.
That's right. I should have brought that video. That was in the.
I know we should have brought it. We should have brought that.
What was it? It's called For the Love of Eden, right?
Enter the Junebug.
Oh, wait, was it?
Yeah.
I thought it was called For the Love of Eden.
I mean,
it
was for the love of Eden, but
Well, he had to make that video in order for Eden to enter.
See past this?
That's right.
Into the Junebug.
That's how she got past the mole.
Yeah, that was it. He used to. I don't know if you noticed, but during that video, he's only looking with his right side.
I never noticed. That's all I was
That's
like.
right. That's right. That's exactly right.
You're like Adam Sandler. He don't let no one see because of his ear.
Oh,
Yeah. See? Now it's all starting to make sense.
You a fool. Well, that's a great story.
So
Oh my God.
So after that, I mean, just at the clinic, I mean, me and him we'd even work mitts in the back room during work.
Yeah.
Some days during lunch and stuff, and it was awesome. So that was the thing. Him and I we'd spend 8 hours a day at work together, and then 4 hours at the gym together. So we were together 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, and that's kind of how the friendship really flourishes. That we were just constantly around each other and making each other better. And you know, when I first met him, he was a blue belt. So
I just gotten my blue belt from Mark Lehman.
Yeah, he was the first one that actually had me do a gi jiu-jitsu class.
Okay.
So
yeah, because I remember you telling me that you used to roll or train constantly with no gi, and you're always just going.
Yeah.
So he's the one that got you into the gi.
Yeah, he got me into my first gi class. Was at Cobra Kai, and I borrowed one of his gis. It was way too big, which is probably the reason I lost so many. I got tapped out so many times. I just couldn't. It's like trying, you know, like when you're a little kid and you put on your dad's shirt. You're like, oh, I'm gonna put this shirt on. I'm the dad today. Like, I'm the
He was still
Junebug
sexy
today.
and handsome though.
So, but yeah, I was 19, 20. I think I was 20 when I first met Junebug. Yeah, 20.
And you were still a cocky motherfucker you were back then.
Probably even more so than now.
Probably more so then.
Yeah, I'm a little more humble now.
Very humble.
I've experienced a lot in life, so
Yeah. It's probably that beard. You got that fucking epic beard.
man, I could always grow this beard though the entire time, but I always used to just have a goatee. Not like yours.
Oh, what's wrong with mine?
No, you got like a V for Vendetta thing. I like it. It looks good. The Guy Fawkes, he looks good.
Oh, thanks. You see my Instagram, my old picture was just like.
Do you notice how he colors his hair in now black on
Does
his photos? He like
Is it
does
is
the
that
filter.
I covered my what?
He filters out his gray hair. Have you seen that?
Is that the bad boy thing?
Yeah,
That the
that's it. Yeah, he
just for men.
yeah, that's
No, I
it.
don't
stuff.
do that shit. Look, you see all the gray hairs everywhere, man. Shit, I'm proud of this. Look at this.
Keep it real, dog. That's why I do the bald fade, just so you guys can't see the gray anymore.
That's the
Oh.
LeBron James.
And then in about a week or so, you'll see it again.
That's what LeBron James does.
Is he?
Yeah, he like lines it up back here and then wears the headband. And his head, the further he lines it up in the back, the thicker his headband gets in the front.
All right.
So you can't tell.
Just start wearing that 9,000 headband.
And that's why he
then.
wears, if you see a lot of press conference, he'll wear hats to the press conference as well.
Okay, makes sense.
Gotta watch
I
it.
mean,
He's about to be 40. So.
yeah, well, so am I, but you know, you can't have everything. You can't be tall, super muscular, super fucking rich, super talented, and
Make
have
a
your
lot of
whole
money.
head of hair. Look at The Rock. You can't have it. You can't have it all.
What about Tom Brady?
His wife left him. I mean, all right, you ready for the Moscow Mule?
Yeah, you gonna make it?
Yeah. Well, let me get the shot glass.
This intermission is brought to you by Mexicans making Moscow mules. I was trying to look at the camera here. Should have looked there. That's how I should have looked.
Yeah. So
This is a really cool Heineken fireplace, though. I really like that.
I know. I made it myself.
Did you win that?
Actually, it was given to me by a fellow, my adopted Hawaiian father. They took me in when I was homeless, and he gave me a fireplace. It was like a makeshift like that, but it was like fully loaded.
Yeah.
And when I moved out, you know, wintertime, it went out one day. I was like, dude, what the hell? It just. Yeah, it just fucking went out, and I was like, "Oh shit! Like, what the hell's gonna happen?" Here you go. Grab your own mints. And then I told him, I was like, "Man, that thing fucking broke." And he's all like, "What? All right, don't worry, I got you." And he fucking came over, and he brought me that. And I was like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "Yeah, man, it's good for you." Oh shit, thank you. Hey man, when you're poor, I mean, I'm not poor anymore, but back when you're poor and shit, you can't afford heat inside your apartment. Right there. And plus a nice nightlight.
I was just gonna have an Amish person make me one. Apparently, those things are non-electric and they heat everything up. So,
Well, you know, the fake flames and shit, bitches love that too. They're like, "Oh, look, you got a fireplace." I know, huh? Yeah.
fake flames. Fake flames.
That's what I was gonna say. I think you're just gonna drink yourself warm until you think it's warm.
I just turn my TV on and go to YouTube and put fireplace mode. It does the same effect.
Yeah, but that actually heats us up. So, you know what?
If you're relying on a TV to heat you up when you're with a beautiful woman, I'm sorry. You probably are doing something wrong.
Yeah, well, salute to the Moscow Mule.
I'm no science expert, but
Yeah, me neither. Junebug, this will be a lot better for you. Hopefully you don't get
Reflux.
No, I saw that we took that pickleback shot, so
that's good.
Oh yeah.
all right, so let's fast forward a little bit of time. How long before you guys started training at your Ninth Isle, the original gym?
2015.
That is a good story. Yeah,
5 years. 5 years.
I think it's 2014. You know.
Oh, November.
Yeah.
14.
Yeah.
That's right.
So you guys were training for 4 years at that gym, fights.
He was actually one of the first to come and train with me. So I mean, you talk about loyalty over royalty, and that is one thing that I can never take away from this guy, because you know when others went their own separate ways, only a handful of people, majority of them was kids, mind you, that was training with me at Excel Defense Studios. But he was like one of the first adults to follow me.
I mean,
and-
let's dial it back even further. I left striking. You left Cobra Kai. You said we should both go to Drysdale's. We went to Drysdale's, and we trained at the original Drysdale's, which the original Drysdale's was, I mean, no bigger than maybe 20 feet deeper than the first Ninth Isle.
Yeah.
But we trained there, and then we helped Drysdale open up the next place.
Right.
We helped them move the mats. We helped them build
Yep.
stuff and do everything.
Really?
And then
Yeah.
we stayed there until there was a falling out there with Drysdale, and then he went to Excel, and I stayed at Drysdale maybe another 2 months, and then I went to train with him at Excel, and then after everything went down at Excel, we trained my garage, your garage,
Yeah.
back of a church, and then
Bro, this guy used to have matches with like his roommates. He would kick their ass, and they were some big dudes too. Like I'm like, oh, I don't think this is a good idea. And then, some big guys. He messed them up.
So I used to throw like these huge parties when I was like 21, 22, and I had this mat. It was like a 12 by 12 mat in my garage, and I used to just use it to hit the punching bag on, and then I would just do like some wrestling privates with the boys and stuff. But every single time at the end of parties, the drunker people they would kind of just like talk shit and say all this stuff to people.
Yeah.
And so I'd be like, let's put the gloves on, let's go see.
Oh boy.
So I would just allow people to just scrap it out in my garage at the end of parties. And there would probably be like 4 or 5 fights in a row. And it was great. Girls on girls, guy versus girl, guy on guy. Like, it was great.
Dude, that sounds like that fucking movie Never Back Down, where they're at the rich house and all of a sudden you go
Dude.
down there and was like fucking.
No,
going
that's
at it.
I don't know how
no,
they,
that's
I don't know
exactly
how he
how it
never
was.
got kicked out.
Bro.
What was this, apartment or a house you guys
It was
were
a
at?
house. It was my house.
Big house.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah,
You
I
would've
think
been
you were
fun to
probably
be
in
there.
Arizona at the time.
No, I was here.
In 2011?
Yeah.
You were in Vegas?
Mhm.
Wow.
Wow.
Sounds
might
like
have seen
sounds
me.
like you were hanging out the wrong people.
I was.
If he came, for sure you get kicked out of your house.
Oh yeah, probably.
Well, I was a different man back then, so
That's what I'm saying. You're much mellow now.
No,
Much more
no,
mellow
what
now.
would happen is Ernesto would think he could fight and then get beat up.
Well, right now at least
were
he
you
know
there?
jujitsu.
Did you see me?
At least he know jujitsu now.
No,
Back
now
then,
that's
I don't
what I'm saying,
know.
but in 2011,
2011 is
Yeah.
a different story. I can
Oh,
vet
man.
for him now.
Yeah.
So of all these parties, what was the wildest party that went down?
oh man,
I want both perspectives because he went too, right?
no, he only went to some parties.
Okay, so
yeah.
so what
You
was
gotta remember
the wildest?
he had 3 little kids at home.
Yeah, I
His
couldn't get
his
out
wife
much.
his wife did not like me for a long time. She
Really?
did not, because
Very
when
much so.
when him and I would go out, he would probably show. We would leave like during the summertime. Sun goes down like 8:00. I'd have him home when the sun is coming up, and so
Very
yeah.
bad.
yeah, we
So
Almost to the point of divorce.
so
Yeah.
Ian is over here at the home, like just fucking boiling, and she's all like, "Chicaro."
bro. There was a time where I was not welcome at their house for a little while because
It's
I
funny
like,
how that happens. Like the real close ones, they get to a point where at some point in time they're not welcome at the other one's house.
yeah.
And it's usually due to the other half.
But what was crazy is, Junebug's house, man, like it was the spot. Everybody went there. Every UFC fight, going to Junebug's. That's where we're going. After every MMA fight or jiu-jitsu tournament, we're gonna go get sushi or we're gonna go get oxtail soup, but then we're gonna come back and drink at Junebug's. And that's what we did, man, all the time. I mean, at Junebug's house when we're watching the UFC fights, right? You have like Chris Holdsworth, you'll have Jerry Shapiro, you'll have like Shane Roller, Jake Rochold, you'll have Johnny Hendricks, and then you'll have like a bunch of guys from like striking, like you'll have Mo will be there, Carlo would be there, and then you would have Sean Johnson, and you'd have just like this house full of like these up and coming fighters.
All those guys you just named would be at his house.
We would all sit there and watch the UFC fights.
Holy
before
shit.
any of these guys were in the UFC.
That was a lot of name
And the
dropping
only
right
reason
there.
we were watching was because Mark Lehman would be cornering someone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we would do is we would just go to his house and watch the fights every single weekend. Every time they had him.
That was some major name drops right there. Holy shit.
It was a good time. It was good. I mean,
Dude, what
when
the
I
hell?
would do the UFC, so I had this little 1-bedroom apartment, right? It was a galley apartment, and Junebug and everybody from the gym would come over. And that was when Courtney, Casey,
Oh yeah,
and what's his face?
Eddie.
would come over.
Yeah.
And here's Courtney Casey before she ever fought in the UFC, hanging out in my little 1-bedroom apartment watching the UFC fights. And yeah, and then Johnny Hendricks, him and his wife, they came over and watched the fights one time, and Matt the Immortal Brown came over and hung out and watched the fights. And then we'd go eat sushi all the time with like Forrest Griffin, Robert Drysdale, James McSweeney, Andre Arlovsky, all these. Yeah.
No, okay. Did you ever wrestle with Johnny Hendricks?
Yeah, and I got completely destroyed.
Really?
Yes.
Like, I know there's levels and shit, but I wrestle with you, and it's like, what the fuck?
You got to remember, Johnny came from one of the, at the time, the best wrestling program in the nation. So Oklahoma State University, you had the Rochelle brothers, you had Johnny Hendricks, King Molau, Mark Muniz. God, I'm trying to remember. There's like 3 other people that were there at that school, and they won like 3 national championships as a team, dual. And then I think they had 5 national champions on that team. And that's the wrestling program he came from. So to compete with that, it was tough. But the thing about Johnny is when he used to train in the gym, they used to do 10 5-minute rounds. And he'd get a new guy in every 2 minutes. And you would never know that guy was tired until that final bell rang of the 10 minutes or the 10th round. And he would just drop. And he'd just like deep breaths and everything. But the entire rounds, you would never know he was tired the whole time.
That's that wrestling mentality, the way you guys were pushed. Like, you're trained to push.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chael Sonnen talks about that shit a lot on his podcast.
You know what I was thinking about the other day? What's David Boulea up to?
He is at Syndicate.
Okay.
Trains with the Shapiro brothers.
Okay.
I think he's a black belt now. And he's just trying to, like social media his way into things.
Trying to get famous.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that the other day, that he was always such a mean dude to everyone.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You ever
Yeah.
whoop his ass?
I remember the one time I sparred with him. He came up to Drysdale's when Ken started teaching there, and I sparred with him, and I'll never forget, I mopped the floor up with him. And then he got all pissed and was like, "Come to jiu-jitsu class." Yeah. And I was like, dude, you're not going to get me on jits anymore either. Because when I first started, he was a purple belt. And then by the time I got my blue belt, he was still a purple belt. And then I was like, what are you doing? Like, why aren't you training? And I guess he was like working on his career or whatever. So whatever. I don't.
No, he was doing a lot. Like, I think at one point in time he had like a TV show. He was on some kind of TV show.
Yeah, he was doing like working on his career or whatever he was trying to focus on.
It was a kind of weird TV show. Like him and his girl at that time was looking for a third partner or something. If I kind of remember, I forget.
Oh,
For a TV show? Or in the bedroom?
Like a mini series or something. I might be wrong, but
probably. It sounds
we'd
like
have to
something.
fact check it.
Yeah.
was it
sounds like
webcam or some shit? What the fuck?
No, it was
The hell
actually
you
like a
talking-
mini series.
Webcam.
Like
Webcam TV.
This sick bastard. This is the cuckold special.
Tuning
What?
in to the Nias family.
we're gonna have to ask your media guy to put it up here to fact check.
Fact check it.
You know what? It's not hooked up today. It's not hooked up today. But he can. But then, yeah, next time. Next time. We're not. This ain't the Joe Rogan podcast. Bring that up, Jamie.
All right, so let me tell you how I was feeling in this exact moment.
Yeah. Okay, but okay. So, all right. So back to these parties real quick before we move on.
Okay.
Fast forward more to the present time.
I'm ready.
You went to very few of these parties that he had these wild parties. What was the craziest thing that you saw or experienced
Craziest thing that I saw
at his crazy parties?
Holy, man.
You got to remember, this is before all this woke stuff and everything. So everything would go back then. Everything was considered appropriate back then.
Well, of course, man. Of course. You know, I mean, plus look at our age frame, all of us. Like, it's like, yeah, we're not like them. They?
I remember more of when we'd go clubbing. Like, he had some really swift moves, not only on the dance floor, but like getting us into exclusive spots where we weren't supposed to be in the first place. That was a time when
Chateau nightclub.
what the Party Rock crew.
Oh yeah, that was Marquee nightclub. Yeah,
We snuck into that place because of this guy.
Yeah. So I actually used to be part of the Party Rock crew. So LMFAO, their Party Rock crew, used to be part of it. It was at Marquee nightclub. It was the first Tuesday of every month. And
what the fuck?
Yeah,
It's gonna take a. It's gonna.
If we had shots right now, I'd be like, it's time for a shot.
Yeah, right down the rabbit hole. Here we go.
So, long story short, we go to Marquee nightclub, and they're like, "You guys can't get in." Blah 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 blah. And I talked to the bouncer guy. I'm like, "Hey, you remember me from LMFAO? Like I was on stage breakdancing and all that." He was like, "Oh yeah, come on in." So they didn't just take us back; they took us to the Marquee VIP area, and we were just chilling, having a good time. Sit in the VIP area, bottle service, drinks, chilling, having a good time, partying all night. And then we did the same thing at Chateau nightclub.
Yeah,
Chateau nightclub.
you ruined some rich guys' nights that night.
I ruined some rich Middle Eastern guy's night.
He was a prince.
Yeah, he might have been.
You might have been.
He had that checkered hair thing. Isn't that what the princes were? The red and white checkered
I didn't know that was the
hair cover. I thought that's what the princes were. Or like
this is new.
sultans.
This is new.
All I know, they was not happy.
No.
They was not happy because they had some pretty nice looking females with them that night, and they ended up doing party rocking with you instead.
Yeah, so there was these really rich girls there, right? They're middle aged. They were probably like in their mid 40s, and I was like, Junebug, I got like no money like to spend tonight, and he's like, me either. So we sit there, and I said, all right, let me try to find some really like nice looking ladies that have a table or bottle or something, and we could hang out with them. Well, these Middle Eastern dudes had these girls. They were sitting next to each other on the table, and they kept coming over talking to the girls, and then they're dancing with them on the dance floor. So I just start dancing with one, and then another one comes out, and then pretty much next thing I know, I'm waving over Junebug and waving over my buddy Chris, and we're hanging out with these girls, and we're just there to drink their booze. That was it. So once all the Ciroc and everything was gone, we went back downstairs and just left it there. We're like, hey, we'll be back. We're gonna go get some more of our friends.
Shut these.
Wow.
Very bad.
And you know what? Those women are still thinking to this day about that night. Like, where did he go? What happened? Why would he leave us? We're awesome, right?
Jiu-jitsu lessons from HTC.
Oh, HTC.
Oh,
throw it back, huh?
Bro.
Fucking
The what?
Fucking guy. A
Four
man of
letter
many,
word.
many fucking talents, many hidden talents. Am I right?
Very much so.
That's why I wanted this shit to happen, because it was like, I hear so many stories separately. It's like, what if together? Like, what the fuck is going down?
Yeah, we used to always go to the Tough Enough fights, even when I was in fighting. And Barry Meyer, rest in peace. He would always take care of me. He was the president of Tough Enough, him and his brother Jeff, but Barry kind of really ran the shows and put together the fight cards. And he was always really, really good to me. And anything I needed or wanted, he always delivered. And anytime I had a fight, I would sell like 150, 200 tickets every single time. So I'd fill arenas for him. And once he recognized that, I never fought in a place that had less than 12,000 seats.
Oh, nice.
Or 12,000, I think maybe. Whatever the South Point Arena was. So I would always fight there, and man, that was good times. But anytime we'd go to the Tough Enough fights, he would always give us a table with bottle service, and I could invite as many friends as I wanted. And it would always be me, you, Noel, Leandro, and then Carlo, and then Edwin would come every once in a while. But we would always just go to the Tough Enough fights every time they had them. Table side, bottle service, party all night, watch all the fights for free. And then every once in a while, when I take them with me to watch the fights, I would just walk down to the cage, put a headset on, commentate 2 or 3 fights, take my headset off, come back, get drunk, do the same thing again. So, yeah, I did that for a while, and then, one other person that was always around for a while was Ryan.
Yeah,
Ryan was always around for a while. Yeah, rest in peace for Ryan.
yeah.
Ryan who?
Cheers to that one, Ryan
Yeah.
Renau. So if you look at every single one of my championship fights where I'm holding my belt and everything, it's always Junebug and Ryan on my side. So yeah, he passed away 4 years ago. He was 30 years old.
Wow.
But that guy could not stand my snoring. That was you're gonna hear this story at the end. We're saving that story for the end.
we'll save that story later.
Tell you.
All right.
You talk about like getting so upset. Like he lost his shit from my snoring.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And, well, real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't understand, Junebug snores like a fucking Harley Davidson motorcycle.
Hey,
Like an
hey,
upset
hey.
bear.
It's only when he doesn't have his CPAP machine, okay? So
On full blast.
Man, this is me. Every time I bunked with him, I've had absolutely no problem because, let's be honest, at the end of the night, I'm fucking drunk, happy, and
Yeah.
full, and I just passed out.
I think that's his strategy. He like the last time we went to Nebraska, he bought enough booze, and it was just me and him in the room.
But was it strategy or was it Tuesday?
I stand corrected.
maybe this guy's right. Well, I can tell you that anytime I go anywhere with Junebug, we had our hunting trip just last September.
But this time I wasn't the strongest one.
No, so
Yeah, I was out.
Ernesto,
snoring.
listen to this.
The strongest
So
one.
Yeah.
So he wins this hunting trip, and then he's able to bring like a group of guys, and we just have to pay like the base price for it. And Derek doesn't get to attend, and so I fill in for Derek, and we go on this hunting trip. And before the hunting trip, I'm looking at the website, and I'm like, Junebug, are you sure we're getting our own rooms? Are you sure? He's like, yeah. Come on, bro. You know me. Come on.
Can,
We all gonna
bro.
have the kind.
kind,
Come
bro.
on.
Can,
Come on.
bro.
We can. But so I'm like, man, I think we're gonna be in a bunkhouse, like all of us together in one area. And he's like, nah. So he calls the place, and it's like 3 days before we leave. And they're like, yeah, you guys want to upgrade to a room? It'll be an extra $300 a night. And we're like, we'll survive at the bunkhouse. So the bunkhouse, I kid you not,
Initially they wanted to split us up.
Yeah, they did. They wanted to split us up into separate bunkhouses.
Wait,
And then
how many? It was 8 of you, right?
six.
Me, Tolin, Carlo, Noel, Chema, and Steve.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That was a crazy trip.
that was
a fucking
that was
fun
a
trip,
good
dog.
trip.
So everybody was annoyed with your snoring.
No.
Actually,
So we all had already brought earplugs because we're going hunting,
Anticipation.
right? In
Because of
anticipation
this
of it.
guy.
So yeah. So I am like, I need a top bunk, and I need to be on the opposite side of the room. So we put Junebug and Chema in the same area, and it was like a symphony of snores, like they were like battling the snore. But here's the worst part. Here's the worst part. Junebug gets woken up by Chema's snoring.
bro. And then, like on the first night, before we got to the camp, remember I was with Steve in that room, and I didn't know Steve stopped snoring or like stopped breathing completely.
Yeah, he does like
What the fuck?
bro. That scared the shit out of me.
he had the sleep apnea stuff. Yeah, like
he
real
had
sleep
that shit
apnea.
worse
Holy
than I
shit.
did.
Yeah.
He snore and then he would
He'll stop breathing for like 40
30
seconds.
Yeah,
30,
30, 40 seconds.
What the fuck?
So
And I'm like, I
Out
was
of-
like, yo, what do I do? Like, fuck, what happened? Like, should I hit him? Should I?
should I
What
kiss
you
him
do?
on the
You do
lips?
this. You go. You know what? This is fucked up. I'm just gonna.
No,
And
you-
just.
What you do is if he stops breathing, you're supposed to give him mouth to mouth. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. You just walk over and just.
It was my duty. I would have been.
Hey, if
I
that shit
love you,
happens to
Steve.
me,
I'm
let
doing
me
this out of
die.
love.
Let me die.
Just pour beer on me. I'll be okay.
So,
Give me,
Tell
give
my
me a
son I love
beer
him.
and a napkin. I'll
So-
be fine.
so we fly.
Famous words of Ernesto Nies.
Yes. So when we fly to Austin, we're
This
We're-
motherfucker.
so we fly there, and then we had to get the rental car and all that stuff, and then we have the little blue shoe rental car we had.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, the tiny
Right.
blue shoe
Yeah.
where it was you and Steve in that,
Yeah.
and then it was me, Chema, Noel, and Carlo in the truck, and then we had all the guns in the back of the truck. The thing is that we didn't think this plan through, that we should have got like a truck with a cover or maybe like an SUV, because every time we stopped anywhere, we had to load all the guns into the cab of the truck, and then we could go eat places because we didn't want to leave the guns out.
Yeah.
So the first hotel we stayed at was like in this ghetto area of downtown Austin. It was like what, $80 for the night or something?
Yeah, it was really
Something
cheap.
cheap.
Yep.
So Carlo and I'm like, I don't snore, you don't snore. We sleep in the same room. And then we paired everybody who snores up together. So it was you and Steve,
Me and
and then
Steve.
Chema and Noel.
Yeah.
But
Does Noel snore too?
No, well he does, but the guy won't. He actually
won't
cut
admit.
Chema. Yeah, he won't admit. I
Yeah.
think, but like he recorded Chema. But this is the thing, he recorded Chema snoring, and in the background he's doing commentary of Chema snoring. Like he's you can hear Chema. He was going, and then in the back you can hear Noel.
and then he's like, and then you hear Chema, then you hear Chema going, and you hear,
Noel's making all this,
Fucking Noel.
and Chema's out cold, bro.
he's like, and he's like,
Yeah, he's in the background making, yeah.
No.
And the louder Chema gets, the worse the commentary.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's what I was telling you. Those guys, that group of guys.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome anytime.
Oh my god.
Any-
I said that.
because those
There was a
guys.
text. I said, "Oh, the podcast."
yeah, he did
Ernesto
say that
says tonight.
in our hunting.
But
Oh, those guys are-
Steve
those
shut
guys
that
are
down
great.
because he
Yeah.
said he was out on the lake all day. So it's funny that
Those
chat
guys,
line.
those guys are great though.
You'll see an escalation of like, oh, everybody's in it, like they're freaking game. And as soon as somebody says something negative, it gets shut down. Like you see a quick downward spiral very fast.
That's why I only respond if it's a positive message. That's why, like,
You respond when there is an opportunity to say something perverse.
That's true. That's true too.
Yeah, I've noticed that too from him.
But Steve, when
It's very entertaining.
So Steve posted a picture today in our chat that he got his boat and everything. I was like, oh yeah, congrats. Let's get the boys together. Let's go to Cottonwood Cove. And I said, let's pick a date. And then he was like, let's do it. And then after that, it was like, yeah, I like the boat, all this stuff. And then Steve goes, I can't make the podcast. And everyone's like, silent.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, like, because I said, podcast Nestle's house tonight.
But that's what we're saying. Anytime anything negative is said, the chat shuts down for like 3-4 days until someone else posts something.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's funny. Like, you'll see, like, there's an escalation. Everybody's about that, whatever they're talking about.
We're going to sushi. Let's
Yeah,
go. Okay,
yeah.
we'll be there. We're going to go shooting. Okay, let's go. And they'll be like, Hey guys, I can't.
I gotta blow out
gotta-
my tire. Silent.
Yeah, and then you just see everybody
guys,
just fall. Okay, I
would-
can't
would-
either. I can't either. I can't either.
No
and then be
shit.
Like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
I can't. You're like,
it's
"Ah."
funny.
And who is it? This is Chema, Carlo, Noel.
Yeah, it's the
Derek-
hunting. It's the
Derek-
hunting party.
Derek and all them.
Yeah,
Derek's in there as well. Yeah,
Fuck.
but when something does go together, like for example, Derek's wife's birthday,
right.
everybody was there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then trying to think whenever we have to get together for the fundraiser stuff
Right.
at the gym,
Yeah.
everybody responds on it.
Yeah.
You know, anytime it's something like that, everyone's pretty much there.
It's a good time. When we do make it all together, it's a really good time.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
What the fuck, man? I'm not a part of that chat. I'm like, I'm
Bro,
not
you're
good enough.
driving all the time, dog. You're in,
Exactly. I'm driving
like,
and
on the
bored.
east.
The last thing we want is you to respond, and it's like 3 days later. You're like, we're trying to plan like a, you know,
For next week, and I'm gone for 3 weeks.
It's like it's a Thursday night, and we're like, hey, you guys want to go shooting on Sunday and get sushi? And then you respond like on Monday, hey guys, I totally would have been in if I was in town.
Hey, you know what? You know what? I think you could vouch for that because that has happened how many times now?
Many.
I mean, seriously.
Many.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say that,
Love you guys. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's not my fault.
hey, you gotta work. We understand it. You know.
You know what? Don't even blame me. Blame him.
Hey,
Well,
hey,
Love you, son.
my wife, I specifically, her and I were like, we should leave super early from Colorado because I drove from Colorado this morning. We left at 2:00 in the morning Colorado time. Got to Vegas at 7:00 our time. 7-hour drive up. We gained an hour.
Oh, you drove.
Yeah. So we drove, and I got home and I slept until about noon, and then I called you and I was like, "What time did I say I'll be there?" And you're like 7:00, and I was like, "I'll be there."
I thought you flew. God.
Well, remember because I told you I was like, I might not get home till 5:00.
You told me you would be home around 6.
Yeah.
And then you would come here at 7. I was like, all right, cool. We'll set for 7.
Yeah. So it was a long week.
Dude,
Long
you want
week.
to? Yeah. Hey, you know what? I had a stressful fucking week. What's up about after the podcast? But look at Oscar's face and tell me it wasn't a stressful week. Was it a stressful week, son? You motherfucker. You know what? He shook his head. Ladies and gentlemen, he shook his head like he went,
nope.
hey, he got his license, his driver's license yesterday.
Holy, you're driving me home
And-
tonight, sir.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
Yes.
But you know what? It wasn't like, oh yeah, he went and got his license. No, we had to he had to earn it, but I had to earn it with him because
Did you guys have to
laws-
locate his green card or something? That was the difficult
the
part.
laws of Nevada, the laws of Las Vegas, Nevada was in the way. And we had 3 days to get it all done. And
Yeah,
I'm gonna
usually what you do is after you pass your driving test at the DMV, you literally walk over, pull a number, and sit there until you file your paperwork, and then they say, "Okay, you're good to go. You're filed. Walk over there, go take your picture. We'll mail you your license." If you take your driving test, you might as well give up your whole day. It's not going to go there, take
No.
your driving test. I'm going to
No.
come back, finish this. I'm going to come
Right.
back, do this.
all right. This is a story after
Sounds
the
like he's a
podcast.
terrible dad.
Holy.
This- well, I didn't have a father of my own to train me like you two did. Well, crickets.
So the person who took me
I
was
didn't
my
have
mom. My mom took me.
Guinness to puppy. No, I didn't.
Oh
have.
shit!
Yeah,
You know what, fucking guys?
Yeah, I was gonna say my mom. My mom
Salute.
took me.
Junebug, your beer's getting warm.
Salute.
Your beer's getting warm, Junebug.
Speaking of dads and diabetes,
This one is so good, though.
look at this. I don't think I showed you this.
You showed me.
I did show you.
Yeah.
Look at that. My dad lost the lower half of his right leg.
Yeah.
Diabetes.
Talk to the mic. Explain what happened
Oh,
because this is important for self-awareness.
So my dad is a Vietnam vet, and he has exposure to Agent Orange. And what happened is that causes you to have diabetes. And he self-treated himself for a very long time. But, you know, as you get older, your body just starts to deteriorate over time. So he got a spot on his toe. And then, he got it treated, but, he didn't stay on it. Regular diet, continue to, monitor his blood sugar. The spot spread to his toe and his toe mummified. And then he got admitted to the hospital, thought he was only going to lose the toe, saw a vascular surgeon. The vascular surgeon said, the best circulation you have starts about 3 inches below your knee. And so they amputated everything about 3 inches below his knee. And then he got his staples out. Everything was good. And he keeps forgetting that he doesn't have a right leg when he goes to get up off the toilet or get out of the shower. And he fell on his stump.
Oh.
And he opened it all back up. So he was in the hospital for 2 more days. They put they call it like a vacuum to clean out the wound and circulate the blood and all that stuff. So he did that, and now it's day 7. He doesn't have that. And then now he's finally going to get fitted for a prosthesis. So
for a what?
A prosthesis. So a fake leg.
Okay.
Yeah. But I bought him a scooter. Because he can still use the scooter with a knee.
Is it that one that Junebug uses?
I did.
Because that one's hell to push around.
No, so I bought him one like yours, but the one I bought him is 4-wheel.
Okay.
And the 4-wheel one I bought him it's originally like $300, and I got it brand new. Nellis Auction was doing a like medical device auction. I got it for fucking $20.
Shut the
$20,
ladies and gentlemen.
And I put it together and I dropped it off to him for Father's Day. Here you go,
ladies and gentlemen. Just so you guys know, Tolin makes approximately $689,000 a year, and he was too cheap to buy a $300 fucking scooter. So he went to the auction.
So at the end of the day, you will never see. Yeah, you'll never see. If you see some of the richest people in the world, they buy expensive things, but everything is always at a bargain.
They know how to find it. Best example, Mark Cuban, and he preaches how to save money.
I mean, he bought the Dallas Mavericks at a very, very low price, and then won them a championship, I think like 8 years after he owned them. So
yeah, and more power to him.
Same thing. Have you seen his pharmaceutical site he has?
No.
So Mark Cuban has a pharmaceutical site where you can go there and look up prescription medications that you need, that if you don't have insurance, but you see a doctor and you get a prescription, you can go to this site. And what they do is they charge the actual cost of what that prescription costs to manufacture. And they broker deal with all these different pharmacy companies and everything that produce these medications. And the only thing they charge you is they have the cost of the medication, a 5% shipping fee, and 3% for the production and handling. So you're only paying an 8% cost on the actual cost of medications. Dang. And they're adding more and more medications every year. And because his theory is that everyone should have access to any type of medication anywhere in the United States for a reasonable price.
Mark Cuban did that.
He did that, yeah.
No.
That guy better watch out because Big Pharma coming for his ass.
No. To the audience, Tolin works in the medical field behind the scenes handling all that shit. Now, obviously you wouldn't understand that and they tell us this now, but why do we, the regular people, not know about that?
So,
and this is Mark Cuban, by the way. Mark Cuban, if you know, you know.
Pharma.
So here you go. So I don't know if you guys know, but the largest industry in America besides selling weapons is the drug industry. And the drug industry isn't just about the manufacturing of drugs and the distribution. It's about the drugs that hit the street, like heroin, cocaine,
marijuana.
Fentanyl.
No, that's like that's why in Utah, right, they won't let you grow like marijuana over there because you'll put out a lot of big pharma business.
100%. That goes back even further. From their marijuana stuff goes back to like the timber companies outline hemp, because hemp would grow 10 times faster than wood. And it's 10 times stronger than natural wood. And you can actually make hemp ropes, hemp clothing. You can make hemp like actual you could boil it down and solidify it up and make like wood boards and stuff out of it. So they outlawed all this stuff back in like the 1800s or late early 1900s.
Yeah.
But also the medicinal use of it, right? If you can't make money off something, which Marinol has been a product that has been out there for years for people who are dying of cancer, that it's metastasized and it's in their bones now. And it just kind of helps to alleviate the pain. So Marinol has been out there. And then you've also had like certain medical marijuana, I think it's called like G something, whatever, that the federal government would prescribe to people. So tell me why the federal government will prescribe marijuana but won't legalize it. Our veterans at the VA get prescribed marijuana, prescribed Marinol. All these products have THC in it. And you know that it helps alleviate pain, and you know that it helps mitigate cataracts and people who are going through chemotherapy. They prescribe it to them so they can eat, so they don't throw up their
appetite.
food.
Yep.
Exactly. And you're telling me it has all these positive effects, but you won't legalize it nationally? So, but for the states that have done it, like the entire West Coast, they've taxed it, they've made money off of it, and it's working really well. But it's also saturated the industry across certain areas of the market for people who used to grow marijuana specifically for people in the federal government that they would distribute to patients. So it's kind of a push and pull.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
So on that note, this is a few years ago. I already knew you guys, but because of all these facts that were starting to come out, around the time I met you guys, these were becoming more well known amongst the world because of the internet and social media. I had a conversation with Mom. I don't smoke weed. Last time I smoked weed, my throat was closing up. So what does that say? You know what?
Anaphylactic shock.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
But as for the benefits, this is even from back in high school. The benefits of smoking marijuana are more positive than negative. So I was like, you know what? If you do it, great, do it. My mom, my actual mom, I was like, oh yeah, Mom. So apparently, when you smoke marijuana, there's a bunch of benefits in the medical field, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I said some of those facts you said, some.
Yep.
And she goes, no, that's against the law. That's drugs. I was like, drugs? That's drugs. I was like,
right.
Like, Mom,
you're out there smoking that reefer.
I was like,
the devil's lettuce.
Pretty much. And I was like, Mom, you gotta understand. No, that's drugs. It's against the law. And I was like, oh my God, you know what? I can't do this shit. This is me back when I first met you. I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm done. And then fast forward a few years to where it's become more normalized and common. I got ice right here for me. So. And then they got all these Netflix shows that are talking about the positives. And now like maybe about a year ago, 2 years ago.
She did not flip.
We're talking in a random phone call. She goes, hey, I was watching a Netflix show. Did you know that there's a lot of benefits to medical marijuana? And did you know this and this and this and this and that and that? There's a little girl, she has cancer. They give her marijuana tea. She helps her eat so she doesn't, disintegrate. She can get out like, oh my God.
Do you want to know why? Because what happens is once someone figures out how to make money off of a certain product or how to capitalize on a industry or even corner industry, that's where things start to come in, where you start seeing, wow, like I never saw Netflix documentaries on this, or look at this. Like even in like the regular news, they're advocating for certain things. And, once you start to see, you're like, man, 20 years ago, some guy was telling me, so-and-so, if we did this and that it's really good for you.